Hey tankers, and welcome to World of Tanks with PR154. Today we're doing a gameplay review of the Stridsvagn K. Now hopefully you're catching this video from our VIII article, which I've done a much more detailed review of the technical characteristics of this vehicle, how it compares to other vehicles of similar class and function. And if you're not catching this video from the VIII article, I'll put the link in the description below, and you can catch that. It's well worth a read. We're probably looking here at more the gameplay of Stridsvagn K, and what I'd found works for me with this brand new Tier 9 premium Swedish heavy tank. I've attempted this map in a couple of different ways with this tank, and initially being a tank that plays from hull down positions, I'd originally gone for places such as the JK line, where you might be able to sort of play some of these ridges from a hull down position, but I found that didn't work for me all that well, because you might look at the turret and you might look at the Kranvagn, and they're two, the Centurion 7.1 and the Kranvagn, they're both vehicles that you automatically associate with effective hull down play. But I find that doesn't quite work with this vehicle, because at the end of the day, you're plonking a medium tank turret on a heavy tank hull. And as such, it has certain heavy tank hull characteristics. The most obvious of which being really quite woeful concealment values. And I think that's perhaps something that makes playing the Centurion 7 a little bit more forgiving, in that that additional concealment bonus you get from being a medium tank as opposed to a heavy tank just lets it stay hidden when playing from those hull down positions of support that much more effectively. Your ability to dodge incoming fire as a tier 9 hull down heavy tank is somewhat questionable, because at the end of the day it is a medium tank turret, and so anyone shooting shells at you with more than 250 millimeters of penetration has a reasonably high chance of just going straight through your face. And being a tier 9 vehicle, you're encountering other tier 9 tanks like other Stridsvagn Ks, who their base penetration value is 252 millimeters. So there's a reasonable chance that another Stridsvagn K can penetrate another Stridsvagn K through the face. There are a lot of premium rounds on Tier 8 tanks, even a couple of standard rounds on Tier 8 tanks. I may need to be corrected on that, but that can penetrate 252 millimeters of armor. So you can't necessarily throw this vehicle into a forward hull down position as you would, say, a Conqueror, and expect it to excel. In a face-to-face battle with a vehicle like AE Phase 1. While this vehicle has better gun handling, AE Phase 1 just has far better penetration and just far better turret armor. And it's just very easy for the AE Phase 1 to just shoot you through the face, be it with standard rounds or the premium rounds. So I've found the most successful play with the Stridsvagn K has been in a setup like this, where I'm not riding the ridge at the front. I'm certainly not playing the field in the brawl where everyone else is. I'm just set up in a position of support where every now and then I can use its reasonably accurate gun to slot the better part of 390 hit points into an enemy vehicle. And thus far, we've collected nearly 1,200 hit points, just snotting enemy heavy tanks as they do pokes out of the tunnel here on the safe haven map. Although it appears both the enemy artillery piece and the Leopard PTA are onto us, but the Leopard PTA has ignored us at their peril, and we've been able to get a shot into them and keep them illuminated for our friendly team that still occupies the high ground here on the JK lines. So this is a reasonably effective position for Stridsvagn K. You're far enough away that enemies that are relying on kinetic energy rounds, their penetration value is going to somewhat deteriorate over distance. So there's either the accuracy is going to be off, or they're not quite going to have the residual penetration to find purchase in your the face of your turret. We have situations like that with the Super Conqueror where it just misses you, and that is perfectly fine by me. Now the gun on this is not bad. It's not as good as the Centurion Mark 7s, but you still get 0.33 meters per 100 meters of accuracy. So that's not too bad. That's not too bad at all. You get 252 millimeters of base penetration, which is quite respectable as a starting point. Considering most tier 8s need to fire premium rounds to get anywhere near that. You can also switch it up to a APCR round where you get 310 millimeters of penetration. So the gun's useful. It shoots useful things that can damage the enemy. And at 105 millimeters, it doesn't do a bad job. It doesn't do a bad job at all. The problem is you've got a medium tank strapped on a heavy tank hull, and it just carries with it all the liabilities of heavy tanks, particularly with regard to concealment. Okay, we've got a Kranvan hull. And Kranvans are known for being quite sprightly and agile. Not so much the case with Stridsvagn K. Kranvan has a 60 km per hour forward speed, but unfortunately you only get 40 km per hour with the Stridsvagn K. It could be argued, however, that that's something of a safety measure, because again, this is the sort of tank that you really don't want to be playing from the front line. Like, if you try to get stuck in on the medium line, well, the mediums probably have shells that can just shoot you through the face. If you go on the heavy line, there's a good chance that that other hull-down heavy tanks are just going to have a lot less weak spots in the turret face for you to then take advantage of. So a spot like this is absolutely plumb. Now, granted, there's been a slight risk of rain with the enemy artillery piece, just feeling us out fairly consistently through the game, and probably accounting for the good bulk of our hit points at this point in time. But we've done all right. We've racked up nearly 2,700 hit points of damage. We've bounced a lot of the incoming rounds. Yeah, so that's us in the Stridsvagn K, and we're down to cleanup. We're down to cleanup phase now. So, confirmed. Tier 9 premiums. There's quite a variance of opinion about these vehicles. Certainly, my casual observation, I haven't put a huge amount of science, mathematics, and statistical analysis into it, but I would suggest that the credit yield that I found in this vehicle is probably about 50% of the net credit yield as I would find in a tier 8 premium tank. So the tier 8 premium tank is not dead, not by any stretch of the imagination. If you want to grind a crap load of credits, I would implore you, do it in a tier 8 premium tank, not in a tier 9 premium tank. Not that we have a hell of a lot of tier 9 premium tanks to choose from as yet. This is the first in the game. Now, speaking of game, that is it. We've knocked out all enemy vehicles. Let's take a quick look at the results. And that's victory for us in the Stridsvagn K. That's the brand new tier 9 Swedish premium heavy tank that's just entered the game as the first premium tank to enter the game at tier 9. Now, an important distinction between this and other tier 9 premium tanks that are in the game. So you look at your battle pass tanks like A Phase 1 or Kunzepanzer or K91 PT. You also look at the ranked reward vehicles, a Concept 1B. Those vehicles are not premium tanks, they're reward tanks. So they will accrue additional combat experience, additional crew experience, but they won't accrue additional credits. And that is the difference with a premium tank. The premium tank gives you additional credits on top of everything else. With the tier 9 with the Tier 9 premium tanks, you also get the ability to earn bonds. In this case, for our efforts, we've picked up 7 bonds with the Stridsvagn K, and this vehicle can accrue up to 100 bonds a week, just same as any other Tier 10 tank. So the key difference, now we touched on this earlier, but I found the credit yield is around 50% of the net yield of what I would expect from a Tier 8 premium tank. So the Tier 8 premium tank is by no means dead. Now, we've had a fantastic yield from this game with 85,000 credits. The point I would make, however, is normally to pick up these, you've either got to be completing missions or you've got to be playing Tier 10 tanks. And when you're playing Tier 10 tanks, that's typically associated with a net loss of credits because, let's face it, they have expensive ammunition, they have humongous repair bills, and often you feel compelled to fire a lot of premium rounds. And so the net effect of that is you're doing a rationalization that in order to pick up bonds, you need to expend credits. So this is not so with the Stridsvagn K and any other Tier 9 premiums rather that'll follow it. So it'll be interesting to see how this goes. By all means, the Stridsvagn K it's not unplayable, and it's certainly not overpowered. I think there's a sound argument to that the first Tier 9 premium that they released that has this unique bond earning ability at Tier 9, it shouldn't be overpowered. It shouldn't be an overpowered tank. It's definitely not an unplayable tank. We can make it work. It does have an interesting role. You'll notice that game we were playing quite conservatively, really trying to avoid any direct contact with the enemy other than where we could get these opportunistic sniping shots in very much a support role. But we're able to do it, and we're able to have an effect on the battlefield with the top 3 XP placement. So anyway, best of luck with your own marathon if you do choose to pick up the tank, and we'll see you on the battlefield. Take care out there.